I became a doctor because I'm from a medical family. Both my parents are physicians. My mother went to medical school in the 1940s, my dad shortly thereafter. So we grew up going on house calls in the back of the station wagon to see his patients, and they were both pediatricians. So I became fascinated from an early age. Around 4 years old, I wanted to be a doctor, and from then on, I couldn't see doing anything else. I chose ophthalmology when I was in 10th grade. I wanted to be an eye surgeon when in 10th grade, and I went and spent time with my ophthalmologist, who was a male, and he thought it was so great that I wanted to be an ophthalmologist in 10th grade. He took me to surgery to see this new, improved way of doing surgery, cataract surgery, where we take out somebody's lens and put a lens implant in. This is back in the 1970s, early 1970s, and I was so fascinated watching him, and I got to look over his shoulder while he performed this new surgery. I said, that's what I want to do. Of course, it was a long haul since then. I was told so many times I'm going to be a nurse. No women become surgeons back then. And I was going to be a nurse, and I said, no, I'm going to be an eye surgeon. And I just kept pursuing that as my career. Probably pediatric ophthalmology because of my parents being interested in pediatrics. I probably kind of drifted that way. Of course, I was the only woman in my specialty for 3 years while I was in training. There were no women attendings and no women residents. So I had a natural affinity for the children, and the guys didn't want to see these children because they didn't know what to do with them, and so they sent me all the children. And so after a while I got pretty good at seeing children, so I became very interested quickly because I was good at it, and I was getting all the children in the whole department, and I started enjoying it and wanted to pursue a career in pediatric ophthalmology since then. Will's Eye is where I did my fellowship training with Joe Calhoun, and I had such phenomenal training with him as my mentor. I just can't say enough about him. He gave me a special affinity for Will's and a special affinity for pediatric ophthalmology in general. And I have to say, I think about him all the time, and I just have such a love of Will's Eye because of him and because of the things that he taught us. What do I do in my spare time? Well, in my spare time, I'm busy running my company. I have a ophthalmology company of 40 employees, so that spends a lot of my time. But once I leave work, I love to cook. We love to go to the theater. We've just become empty nesters in the last year and a half, and so we're just enjoying having life, both my husband and myself, and the dog, of course. Don't forget the dog.